Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hey everyone, welcome back to Right on Track. I'm so honored to be joined by two stars today. Please welcome JP Rende and Kat Raio-Rende. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
We're doing well. We're doing really, really well. Thank you for having us on. It's
Of
really
course.
exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We have lots to chat about today. I'm delighted to have you here. But before we dive into all the specifics, can you each share how you individually got into music and then how you met?
I'll go first.
Sure.
Kat Raio-Rende. I
Ren.
always Rende. Oh my God, what am I doing? You know what's funny? Sometimes when people say our names, they say Rend, and as a joke, I read it that way. Actually, it's pronounced this way, and then you start saying it the wrong way. Anyway,
You mean like Davidian?
yes, JP mixed up the words meridian and divider and called it Davidian, and now we just call it that from now on.
Yeah.
Also use the word earballs because why not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, I started as a singer, and I was always fascinated with jingles and like nerdy music, while also wanting to be an artist. And I realized that like the things that I really enjoyed working on and writing were so diverse that I realized that like I had a different calling, and I started singing jingles and writing for some song demos. I worked briefly for a lot of the songwriters on Sony Records, and they would, kind of pass me around as the demo singer of some amazing songs. And when we got into college, JP and I did our best work together. So we went to school for songwriting and production, and we started writing for artists, and we ended up doing jingles, which was like my dream, like I said, and then ended up doing some great kids music where we found that we could write pop music with kids music combined, and it worked the best.
Yeah, I mean, Kat kind of summed it up really beautifully. I was into music at a young age as well. And in grade school, I played the trombone in school, and then I went to guitar. And then in middle school and high school, I was in a punk rock band. So I kind of grew up just loving that kind of music. But once I got to college and met Kat, we
Oh
just
my God, something just fell off my walls, and maybe we have a ghost in the house. Just kidding. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh my gosh.
A painting just fell off my wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we definitely did
some interview, guys.
Yeah, we definitely did our best work together, and yeah, it's just kind of gone on from there.
That's awesome. So because you guys are so collaborative, obviously, have you had to go about developing a sort of style while working together? Because I'm sure you both bring individual, unique ideas to projects. So how do you go about that collaboration?
It's interesting kind of how this interview is, that Kat's in her room and I'm in my room. I don't think we definitely can't work in the same room. We learned that a long time ago, even before we were married. It's just better for us to kind of come together and discuss the project or the script that comes on, and then kind of go into our individual corners and come up with stuff, and then pass it back and forth and argue, and then argue some more, and then realize that one of us is wrong, and then argue that we are not wrong. And then before we know it, it's great, and we realized that we were both correct in whatever we were saying, and it was, better than the sum of its parts.
It really is. JP and I have separate styles. We had separate upbringings. He was a rock guy. I was an R&B girl and a choir person. And when we work separately and bring our ideas together, I find that it becomes some sort of combination of what works best uh, with the composition we're trying to do, and a mix of our styles and our strengths.
That's fantastic. It's so funny. You're like, we argue again, and then again, and then again, and then. So when you are doing scores and writing for, TV, film, and all of that, what is your approach when you're given a script and sit down to start crafting that music?
Can I answer this one? Because this
Yeah,
is
sure.
I my preference and what ends up working the best is we get a brief, and the night before we start working on it, we read it, we sleep on it, and so many times, at least for me, and sometimes for JP too, we wake up in the middle of the night like dreaming of the idea. It is a wild concept, but so we end up like sneaking out of the bedroom, going into the other side of the house and recording voice notes on this because we'll be like, "Oh, I got it. I wrote the whole thing in my sleeps." That does happen to songwriters sometimes, and it really is like the best way because you're writing from a place of complete non-judgment. There's nowhere for judgment in your dreams, I think. Um, you just and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, "Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do." Similarly, when we don't have an idea, you kinda walk away from it and it kinda comes to you. But, the benefit of doing short deadline work, like TV work, is that you really can't like, there's no time for judging what you do. The best work comes out, and I believe that, like, uh, not counting any tweaks that have to be done, I think the best ideas to come to you right away.
For sure.
That's so interesting. I completely relate with the whole like running in your dreams in the middle of the night and also on deadlines. Like I am a songwriter as well, and I'm also a fiction writer too. And like when I was in school and I was on deadline to get chapters in, I just noticed when I didn't have time to second guess stuff that it just came more naturally to me as well. And like right now, like I'm getting ready to record my original Christmas single for this year, and I've been procrastinating writing it because I just
Yes.
couldn't think of anything. And my producer's like, look, like your drummer's going back to school. Like, we need to get this recorded. And so now I'm on a deadline. I'm like, I don't have time to mess around anymore. And within like an hour, I wrote the whole song. And
Right?
so, yeah, it's crazy how when we allow ourselves to, not second guess and not really judge our work, that's where the magic happens because we're letting it flow.
100%.
Yeah. The worst thing is like when you have all the time in the world for a short piece and you're like, "Okay, I could do this." And then you redo it and redo it and redo it and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, end up with the first thing." You just always do, right, Jay? We always end up like a first idea.
A
Unless
hun-
the, you know.
100%. Definitely. Definitely.
So I have to know your journey to being Emmy Award winner. So can you share that whole experience?
Oh my goodness. Yes. It was such an awesome, awesome, awesome experience. We've been working on Sesame Street and many other shows for many years, but Sesame Street was our first kind of place where we realized that we were really strong in doing children's and family music. So when we got assigned the song Friends with a Penguin and know that it was going to be sung by Billy Porter, we were just like extremely excited. And I'm going to let Kat take it from here because she's like the biggest Billy Porter fan ever. So
I am. I was going back to like those song demos from Sony. There was a writer that I work with, Peter Zizzo, who's insanely talented and also does kids music now. And he was like, "Oh, you got to hear this song." He had, I think it was like a few years really after it was done, but I was young at the time. He's like, "You got to hear this guy, Billy Porter. He's so good. He sang one of my songs." He had written the song "Love Is on the Way," and I'm sure your listeners know this, but Billy Porter did a recording of it for the First Wives Club. And then Celine Dion made it on pop radio with her version of it. And she and Billy hit the exact same notes. You know that song, right? Love is
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
way. Yeah. And he, oh my God, his voice was insanely good. And from that point on, I was doing deep dives on him. And when we got the call to do a song for him, I'm like, yes, please. This is so exciting. So whenever we work with celebrities, we try to really really write with them respectively, with respect rather. We want to write their style in their way. And a lot of times, because again of time constraints, you don't exactly have contact with them. It's not like you're collaborating with them. Sometimes we do, but most of the time, it's not like that. And when he sang it, he put in his all. Like he really sang it like it was one of his songs. And we wrote it. The lyrics, because Sesame always goes through an education, a research department where they make sure that everything is as Sesame wants it and is congruent with the education goals. Um, they write the lyrics and we wrote the music for it, and it came out so beautifully that when we got the nomination for the Emmy, we were just jumping up and down because like, it's a great message, it's a great he also wore his, Met Gala gown. Do you remember that from the Met Gala? He wore this,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
tuxedo gown. He wore it for the video. So cool.
Oh.
And just he killed it. So and, we really, like when we got to the Emmy ceremony, we were like, "Ah, we're not gonna" we've gotten nominated once before, and the first time we were like, "We're gonna make this, we're gonna get this," and we were so excited. And the second time, knowing that, like, of course you could lose, we're like, we'll just write an Emmy acceptance speech just in case. And it was like the shock of our lives when we won
A
because
hundred
there were
percent.
so many good submissions. There was who the other submission was for the Charlie Brown movie, and who was the writer of that? I'm sorry, my mind
Oh
is
my God, that
blanking.
was Ben Folds, and that
Yeah,
was all the little things,
the little
Charlie
things,
Brown,
all the
and it
little
was
things.
such a great song. Like we were sure we were going to lose to that, and we don't know Ben Folds, but kudos, man, that was a beautiful song.
Yeah, also a song from Sneakerella, which was also fantastic.
Hmm.
So it was a wild to win.
Yeah, that sounds like such a magical experience, especially because this is something that you got to share together as well.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. When we went out to LA, um, our daughter and son, um, they're little, and they're like, "So you're gonna get a trophy?" And we're like, "Well, maybe." So we
Yeah.
we immediately, as soon as we won, we FaceTimed them, and it was past their bedtime, but they were up, and we were like,
Yeah.
"We got the trophy, guys!"
Oh,
So
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 cute.
yeah, our daughter won a dance contest at the like father daughter dance, and she put her trophy next to our trophy. So that's right.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's
the
really
cutest
awesome.
thing
Yeah, it's cute.
ever.
It's cute.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Well, that sounds like such an amazing experience. And you've gotten the opportunity to have your music recorded by some other incredible celebrities as well. So, what is it like for you every time you hear one of the songs you wrote sung by somebody famous?
Oh my God, it's the best. It's the best. It feels so good. It feels so like especially when they like bring their own personalities to the
Yes.
songs. Like one of my favorite songs that was recorded was we did a Christmas song that was sung by Michael Bublé, and when we first heard the recording, we were just like, "Oh my God, this guy's voice!" Not, well, I mean, we knew his voice is butter, but like we got the master back, and we're just like, "Holy moly!" And I remember dancing around our kitchen just playing it back and
Yes.
forth and back and forth. It was so cool. So cool.
Yeah, and he had we're used to like our production staying the same, but he had Bob Rock do some extra production on the
Oh my
song,
God.
and it
He's
was
like a
like the
big hero.
coolest. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very cool. Also, when Cardi B did a song for Baby Shark's Big Show on Nickelodeon,
Mhm.
it was first of all, it was the wildest get that I've ever seen on kids TV because she's a fan. Her daughter watches the show, and when they came on and they did Seaweed Sway, she just like put her thing on it and like, you know, she really cared. Like I don't know why we all expect celebrities. Maybe it's just secret pessimism, but I assumed that like they wouldn't care about our stuff, but it's really she just killed it. And
Mhm.
like and she worked really well for the show.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love what you said there. It's like the celebrities that you see, they're massive hits on pop radio or whatever, but what you guys do, it's so important and you're reaching a special audience, writing for, family and kid friendly. And so seeing very famous singers record these songs must be extremely rewarding for you. And just like as a parent doing this, how is it for you to be able to write these songs? Like, you're writing such fun songs, such friendly songs, and it must be a joy all the time.
It totally is, and I think I could speak for both of us in saying it's pretty wild, especially when our kids were really, really little, that they would hear one of our songs that we wrote years before we were even married, like Brushy Brush, for instance. We wrote that um before the kids, I think before we were married for anything. And like one day we heard them, I guess they heard it on Sesame Street, and they were just singing, and we're like, this is the craziest thing I've ever experienced. And we're obviously a musical family. um so we just make up little silly songs all the time, and they make up songs, and it's just and when I say make up songs, I wouldn't even consider it writing songs. We're just like, we're sitting in the kitchen now and we're about to have
Yeah.
dinner, do, and they're like, yeah, 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 so we
Yeah.
just sing things like that.
Yeah, we have like songs for eating broccoli and songs to
Oh my
go and
god, that's
songs to
perfect.
calm down and and they'll write that our daughter rather not my daughter, our daughter wrote a really cool birthday song that we sing for everybody's birthdays.
Oh
It,
my gosh, yes. Yes, that is like one of
like
the greatest ones.
yeah, but it was cool, like, they brush their teeth with the brushy brush toothbrush,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
and it plays the song from and they do it out of, like, enjoyment, which is so cool. But also, like, it's really nice to see how, as millennial parents, we're seeing all this, like, gentle parenting and all these ways to get kids to do things without, like, punishing them or without, there's course boundaries and discipline, but without, yelling at them or shaming them, and songs really do it. Songs are the way that, kids love novelty, kids love repetition, kids love, um, melody and playfulness, and songs are the ways that we are able to, just get our kids motivated to do things, and, of course, they're our test audience too, so
Absolutely.
we find out what works.
That's so pure. I love how your kids love it. It's so perfect. Oh my goodness.
Well, to be honest, Ella, our daughter's 6, so she'll be 7 in November, and Ben just turned 5. Um, they're kind of like, they know what we do, and sometimes they're like, if we're working on a show and it comes on, they're like, yeah, that's nice and all, but I really want to watch Bluey. Which Bluey is like one of the greatest shows across the board, I think. It's the
Definitely.
writing, the music, everything. So I don't blame them, but they kind of feel bad telling us that. They're like, we don't really want to watch Baby Shark right now, Mommy and Daddy. We want to watch Bluey. I
Yeah.
hope you're not sad. And we're like, no, totally. I get it.
That's so perfect. Oh my gosh. Well, love it, love it. So another thing I wanted to chat with both of you about is Earworm. So what brought you to create your own company?
I would say, Kat and I have been working together for so many, many years. And as we began to grow as composers, we just said, okay, I think this is a good time to start a music house so that not only can we consolidate all our projects under one roof, but also branch out in um, giving younger composers opportunities that we didn't have. Like one of the biggest things that I'm passionate about is kind of people coming up and sharing the knowledge that we've kind of gained through the almost 20 years in this business. When we were coming up and we would talk to certain people that were in the business, some of them were very nice and some of them were very guarded, like, yeah, man, you just do it, and it'll happen, and like that to me. I just never wanted to be that person. So while we were working on Princess Power for Netflix, we reached out to our old conservatory of music, Purchase College, and we're looking for graduates to kind of jump on board and give them internships. And actually, we ended up hiring a few of them because they were wonderful composers. So Earworm, I want it to just be known as a safe place for musicians and creative people.
And it's also a way of, like, bringing in not only the younger generation, but, women and people of color, like, to fill a gap where they're really, like, there's a big gap still, even in 2023.
Yeah, for sure. I think that you're doing a great service to, like you said, all of the ones out there who may not be able to get past the gatekeepers right away and giving people opportunities, and especially recent graduates, like especially the ones who are going to school, getting educated, putting in the work. It's really special how you are open to giving them opportunities and a way into the industry. So as a whole, what is your one of your favorite memories from your whole journey, other than winning an Emmy? Because that's probably at the top of the list. So what's another one for each of you that's a really special memory?
Mm. Oh god, I have so many. I gotta think about that one. You can go first.
Um, my favorite. Okay, I will say it. The first time that we stepped on Sesame Street set, and the fact that, like, as kids, as little kids, we were both really into Sesame Street. But then, like, by the time that we started working in kids stuff, like, at least me, it was like, yeah, I'll do this for a while until something else. But stepping onto Sesame Street, I turned back into a 3-year-old, and you saw Snuffleupagus, and you saw the street, and you saw the signs, and you saw the stoop, and you saw Oscar's can, and that was one of my favorite memories ever.
Oh, that was so cool. He was so like, Snuffleupagus was larger than life and just, like, hanging from the rafters, because where else would you put a 20, or however, I don't know how many feet, I would say probably 9-foot gigantic, woolly mammoth looking puppet.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
gigantic. And also watching, Carol Spinney roll around on roller skates while
Aw.
puppeteering is insane.
Mm.
Okay, I remember what it is, and this is, just, from my singing days. Um, I sing backup for a lot of people. I've been on, tour with, Kesha, and I've sang backup for Alicia Keys and Mary J. Blige, but, the wildest moment was going out to dinner with Liza Minnelli. She is like she is, like, old Hollywood, of course, and she's Hollywood royalty, being the daughter of Judy Garland and being a gigantic celebrity herself. But it was, like, one of my first, forays into the music business. I was about 20 years old singing backup for all these people, and, uh, I went out to dinner with her and a few other people, and she was like, "Oh, darling, I love your shoes. They're so beautiful." I was like, "Oh my god, look at Liza Minnelli just said you love my shoes." But, like, the waiters were bringing her all kinds of things that she'd be like, "I'm thinking about having some fruit." And they just, like, didn't have fruit in the kitchen. They ran out because it was the restaurant was closed. They ran out and they got her this, like, 20-pound tower of, every fruit you could possibly imagine, and it was like 5 of us at the table, and she was just, they brought her all this fruit. Watching old Hollywood, because it's not like that. Everything is so, like, uh, less formal than it was back then, but when I very, very, very first started in, like, I don't know, like, 2000, I guess, it was like the tail end of that. And it's something that it would be cool if it came back, a little bit of it, just a little bit of the
Mhm.
glamour.
Wow, incredible. Two amazing memories. Love hearing about those. So, just to wrap up, what advice would you give to anyone who's interested in getting into composing?
If you are different and you think there is no place for you because you are different, in any way, like, um, I'm neurodivergent and I have ADHD, and I'm like, nobody wants me. What is there? How is there a world for me? Because it always seems like, you have to be this certain person, look a certain way, um, and act a certain way to quote make it. But I find that, like, there's a need for different right now, and go for it because you're different, and let that be your strength. I think that that's something that the world needs right now.
Perfect. Love it.
I couldn't have said it better. I would just add, be yourself. You be you. Um, because trying to be somebody else just doesn't work. And the world needs more of you. As lame as that sounds, we don't want to be copies of each other. Bring your own unique approach to the work.
Perfect. Great advice from both of you. It was a true honor having you on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome having you.
I can't wait to hear your holiday song.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. This is going to be my fourth one. I wanted to make it a tradition to release an original one every year. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
yeah. So, before we go, can you share with everyone where they can find you online and check out all of your work?
Sure. Our website is earwormny.com. And I think my Insta is earwormny as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, what is yours? It's Kat
Mine's now.
Sings.
No, it's Kat Raio-Rende.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for having us on.
Of course, it was awesome having you. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this incredible conversation with JP and Kat. And of course, until next time,
Stay
Stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.